All right, let's get right into it. We're going to deconstruct the methods of one of the most calculated characters in fiction, Kiyotaka Ayanokoji. But this is way more than just analyzing a character. We're exploring a mindset, a blueprint for achieving total, unflinching control over yourself and everything around you.
And this quote right here, this is the key to the whole kingdom. It's the core idea of emotional detachment. Now, this isn't about being a robot with no feelings, not at all. It's about preventing your emotions from being the one pulling the strings and dictating your every move. This is the mindset we're going to unpack.
So this all leads to a massive question, doesn't it? One that's at the very heart of who Ayanokoji is. What is the secret to becoming the perfect human? I mean, that's the question that fuels his entire philosophy, and it's the one we're going to tackle today. To really get the method, we have to go back to the source. The Ayanokoji blueprint wasn't something he just decided to learn one day. No, it was forged, hammered into him in a place they called the White Room. And that place is the foundation for everything.
The White Room was basically a crucible. Just imagine a place where every single action is analyzed, every reaction is recorded, and the entire environment is scrubbed clean of emotion and distraction. The whole goal was to mold a person who operates on pure, ice-cold logic. So, Ayanokoji's skills, they're not magic. They're the result of some incredibly intense, systematic, and frankly, brutal training.
Okay, so knowing that origin, we can move to the first practical step, mastering your own mind. Because look, before you can influence anything or anyone out there, you first have to get absolute command of what's going on in here. This is the bedrock of all control.
And here's the core technique, emotional detachment. Think of it like creating a buffer zone between an event and your response to it. When you can cut off that initial flood of stress or excitement, your decision-making just jumps to a whole new level of clarity. You're no longer just reacting, you're computing the absolute best move. Which naturally brings us to his most famous trait, the poker face. It's the physical proof of that emotional detachment. So how's it done? Well, step one is simple enough. Just keep your face relaxed and neutral. But the real trick is in actively shutting down a reaction. When you feel a laugh or a grimace coming on, you can physically hijack that signal. Tightening your face and pressing your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth creates a new physical feeling that just overrides the emotional one. It's basically a manual override switch for your face.
Now, this control starts on the inside and works its way out, from your mind to your body. Because let's be real, an unreadable face is just one piece of the puzzle. Your entire physical presence is sending signals about your level of control long before you ever say a single word.
This chart is an awesome breakdown of these subtle but incredibly powerful adjustments. You can see the difference, right? The common mistakes, walking too fast, hands in your pockets, they just scream nervousness. The Ayanokoji method, though, is all about neutrality and balance. A straight posture, a steady pace, balanced weight, these things don't just make you look confident, they actually put you in a psychological state of being grounded and in command.
And of course, that physical control is built on a capable body. The philosophy here is pure efficiency. No need for a fancy gym. All it takes is these 5 basic calisthenics exercises. You've got your pull-ups, push-ups, dips, planks, and squats. That's it. Together, they build a lean, functional body. It's all about creating a body that's a tool, ready for any situation.
All right, so we've covered the mind and the body. So what's the next layer? Communication. Let's dig into how you can use your voice and your words to command attention and project that same exact feeling of unshakable control. This is where your voice becomes a weapon. Seriously, think about the power of speaking slowly, of using deliberate pauses. It forces people to listen, to hang on every word. And how about the power of never giving extra explanations? It creates this aura of mystery, and it makes people fill in the blanks themselves, usually in your favor. And finally, you have to get that listening isn't a passive activity. It's active data collection. Every word you hear is another piece of information you can use later.
Okay, now we're arriving at the most advanced and, probably the most dangerous part of the Ayanokoji method. This isn't just about self-control anymore. This is about influencing the thoughts and actions of other people. This is the apex skill.
So let's be really clear about what we mean by manipulation here. We're not talking about brute force or telling obvious lies. No, this is a subtle psychological game. The whole point is to guide someone to a conclusion in a way that makes them believe they got there all by themselves.
True mastery is when the other person feels great about the decision you wanted them to make from the very beginning. And this whole art is built on 7 pillars. Each one is a tool, and when you put them together, you get this incredibly powerful system for influence. We're about to see how something as simple as observation, or framing a narrative, or even mirroring body language all fit together. To make it super clear, let's walk through a real-world scenario.
So, to make this concrete, let's imagine a student named Kane. He's new in a project group and he wants to be the leader, but he's smart enough to know that just asking for it is going to cause problems. So he's going to use the Ayanokoji method to get what he wants indirectly. So, Kane starts with pillar 1, observation. He doesn't talk, he just watches. He quickly figures out that another student, Rio, is insecure and really craves attention. That's his leverage point. Then he uses pillar 2, framing. He doesn't say, hey, I should be the leader. Instead, he talks about the ideal leader, someone balanced, someone with no ego, which conveniently makes him look like the obvious choice.
Next, Kane starts to build a connection with his target, Rio, using mirroring. He'll subtly copy Rio's posture, his speech patterns, and this builds trust on a subconscious level. At the same time, he's using information control. He casually mentions he's done a project like this before, but he leaves out all the details. This lets everyone's imagination run wild, and they just assume he's super experienced.
Now for the final moves. Kane uses anchoring by praising Rio. Your ideas are fantastic, to create a positive feeling, and he immediately ties that good feeling to a request. Then he uses prediction, testing Rio with small tasks and adjusting his strategy based on the response. He's constantly reading the room and fine-tuning his approach. And by the end of it all, he's the leader, and everyone feels like it was the most natural thing in the world. So after seeing all that, it's pretty clear this isn't some quick fix or a list of life hacks you can try this weekend. This is about a fundamental shift in how you see and interact with the world around you. This is a long-term discipline.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Becoming this kind of person means being conscious every single second of every day. How you walk, how you sit, how you talk, every single action becomes a deliberate choice. And that requires a massive amount of discipline and patience to reprogram those old habits.
This quote just sums up the entire philosophy perfectly. The goal isn't for people to get you or like you. The real prize, the only goal that actually matters, is achieving absolute, total mastery over your own mind, your body, and your actions. And here's what that mindset looks like in practice. Almost all of your mental energy is focused on your objectives. The opinions of others, that just becomes background noise, a tiny fraction of what you care about. This is about reaching a point where your path is decided by your will and your will alone. And all this brings us to one final provocative question. It's a heavy one, but it's worth thinking about. To get this much control over your environment and the people in it, do you first have to strip away your own spontaneous humanity? Do you have to become something more like a perfectly logical, calculating machine on the inside?